Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hello, welcome. Laura Fresher, Community Life Director. And today we have FireMed and Carrot Home presenting. They'll just do a short blurb about what they're about with a short time for questions after, and then there's information in the back for you to grab on your way out. So first I'd like to introduce Sasha Shepard. She's been with TBF&R for over 10 years. Is that right, Sasha?
Yes.
10 years and has a wealth of information, so I'm sure she can answer all of your questions. So come on up, Sasha, and you can give us a little information about what FireMed is, and then just leave a little time after for asking questions. Should we welcome Sasha?
Hi, I'm Sasha. I work in medical billing at Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue, and I also work with the FireMed program there. I've been with Tualatin Valley Fire since 2016 when they merged with the Newburgh Fire Department, and prior to that I was with the Newburgh Fire Department for a couple of years. Since 2014. So I've been doing this FireMed piece for about 10 years. So if you've been with the program for a while, I may not know your face, but I definitely know your name. And I will most likely be one of the people you reach on the phone if you have any questions about it. So, FireMed is a voluntary ambulance membership program that we run directly through our office at Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue. We do that at our administrative building in Tigard. It is a membership program that will assist with any out-of-pocket costs that you may be facing in the event of an ambulance transport. So the way that it works is $65 will cover you and any family members that live with you. It's a one fee per household membership. And if you were to have an emergency ambulance transport that originates in our ambulance service area, and that is Newburgh and Dundee, what will happen is we will bill your medical insurance. And then after that goes through, whatever your medical insurance would normally say you would owe as an out-of-pocket cost, such as a copay or a deductible or a co-insurance, that is the amount that your FireMed membership will take care of. So typically what will happen is you will have a transport, we will bill your insurance, you will get the information back from Medicare or your Medicare HMO, and then we will write the rest off, and you should never even hear from us or see a bill from us at all. It should all be taken care of by us on the back end. We try to make it as easy and fluent so that you folks only have to worry about getting better and don't have to worry about your bill. It includes, like I said, any transport that will originate here in our service area, and typically that would mean taking you to the closest available hospital, which is Providence Newburgh. I often get the question every single year, do I have to go to Providence Newburgh Hospital? No, you don't. You may be transported to any other local hospital in the area, OHSU, Providence, Portland, Legacy. It just depends on whether or not you're able to have that conversation with the medics when they arrive. However, that transport is also covered by FireMed if you go outside of our area. We are also reciprocal, with many other fire department FireMed membership programs across the state. About 70 to 80% of the state is also covered by a FireMed membership program, depending on who's running the service area. So if you were to be in Bend, for example, and you had a ambulance transport in Bend, if you were on vacation, your FireMed membership through Newburgh will also cover you if you are traveling in another area of the state that has FireMed. The only places that it does not cover are areas where a FireMed membership program is not set up in place, and those are typically counties that use private ambulance companies for that service. And one last thing, I'll just go over the timeline really quick. We do our open enrollment every single year, starting September 1st through October 31st. So you have until October 31st of this year to get signed up. And then we will send out a new renewal form next year at the beginning of September. Your membership will run through next October 31st. Are there any questions that I could answer for anyone off the top of your heads?
I have FireMed, but my question is about that. Is there I don't have a card. Hello?
So the question is, you don't have a card on hand.
That would give me a phone number or anything in order to get a hold of FireMed rather than another ambulance service.
Okay, yeah, so the question is, how do you know who to call? If you're having an emergency and you need a transport to the hospital, you should call 911. There is no separate number to call to get a transport. So if you do find yourself in need of a transport, please call 911. All of the FireMed administration is taken care of on the back end. So if you have a transport in this service area, the people who come to pick you up will be from Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue. So we will already have your FireMed information on hand. So there shouldn't be anything that you need to do to make sure that your FireMed membership benefits are applied to your service. If you have a transport at home and you do receive a bill from us and you have FireMed, we'd like you to call us, because that could have just been human error on my part. I might have missed your number. I go through them all by hand and check them off. And if you're in another part of the state, which was your original question, other areas that have FireMed programs, they are not going to have your information on file like we do. However, you still don't need to be worried about presenting any of that during the actual incident. All of the billing gets taken care of on the back end. We always want people to just be thinking of their own health when they're going through a situation. In the event that you were to have a transport in another area, I would advise you to wait for the bill to come, and then once you have it in hand, either give us a call or give the agency that has billed you a call to let them know that you have FireMed with us, or you could ask us to help you facilitate that. We'd be happy to do that.
For instance, I've called for the ambulance, but they determine, and I determine that I don't need to go to the hospital. Will that service also be covered if there's no transport to the hospital?
If there is no transport to the hospital, there is no charge. That service is covered by your taxes that you pay. Your taxes pay for fire and life response services. The only charge that will occur if you call 911 is if you were to be eventually transported.
was the same question.
Are there gray areas of what injury you might have or illness that would be covered by your insurance and maybe some wouldn't, and they would say you should have found somebody to just drive you?
Yeah, I would say there are some gray areas. That's all going to be determined on an individual basis based on the report that is filed by the medics. Typically, we go off of what the Medicare rule is for what is covered by an emergency response. Is your life in danger? Would it be a danger to your life if you weren't transported right away to the hospital, or would it be put you in more danger to be transported by any other means? We're looking basically on whether or not you stubbed your toe or if you had something more serious going on. But typically what you would think of as an emergency is what's going to be covered.
Tell me about the choice of hospitals if you are in the ambulance. Like, can I go to McMinnville instead of here?
Yeah, so what I know about the choice of hospitals is that typically the medics would like to take you to the closest available hospital. You are certainly allowed to have the discussion with your medics about hospital preference. And if you can have that discussion with the medics at the time and you can decide that it's safe enough to transport you to a hospital that's further away, I believe that's appropriate, and that transport would be covered by FireMed because it originates in our service area.
You may have covered this, and if so, I apologize. If you have Medicare and a supplementary, you said that you bill Medicare, but what about the supplementary?
That's a great question. I don't think I touched on that. So it's a good idea before you sign up to take a look at your insurance and what they cover as far as co-pays for emergency ambulance transports. For Medicare and various Medicare HMO plans, the copay will be anywhere from $50 to about $400 is the range that I typically see. If you have a supplement in addition to a Medicare plan, you may not need to sign up for this at all. A lot of supplement plans will pick up the copay that the primary plan says you would owe. So again, I wouldn't be able to speak to your specific supplement plan, but I do know that typically if someone has a Medicare plan and a supplement plan, that will usually take care of the entire bill. So it's good to check to make sure you're not signing up for memberships that you may not need if you have that covered elsewhere through insurance.
Any other questions?
Could you talk a bit about
Sharon, just a minute.
Since I've lived here, I've heard several people say that they called 911 to help them get their husband or wife up off the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a covered service as well?
Yes, anything that does not result in a transport by ambulance will not incur a fee from us.
Thank you.
I'm just looking at this, and it's Lifeline Network.
Oh yes, so Lifeline Network is a separate company from us. That is the helicopter-based air ambulance service. They are based out of Aurora. Our application offers you the opportunity to also pay for a Lifeline membership at the same time as the FireMed, so that you can bundle them together if it's easier. If you'd rather just pay Lifeline directly, you can do that as well. You can't sign up for FireMed though. You can't bundle FireMed and Lifeline through Lifeline. You can only bundle them through us. I believe it works in generally the same way. Your insurance is billed in the event that you have an air ambulance transport, and then the remaining balance is what is covered by that membership. Their terms are a little bit different from ours. I don't feel super comfortable answering specific questions about them, so I would say if you're interested in Lifelight, then definitely give them a call to ask questions about their membership program.
Any other questions for FireMed? Okay, thank you, Sasha, for being here. She'll be in the back with information. And give me just a minute.